having that time of year, or this time of year.
This time of year. Crazy. But also just cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. Our recovery drink, our Bloody Mary after the weekend so far, and it's only Saturday.
I know. Thanksgiving was crazy.
And happy Small Business Saturday.
Oh, this is great.
You like it?
This is really good.
Yeah,
I've only had one. This is a Bloody Mary. I've only had one before. It was from a can. This is great.
Oh.
Great job, Chris.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you. So happy Small Business Saturday to all of our businesses and everybody listening. Please, I know, we launched this at 5 p.m., but there's still time to go out and support small businesses, right? You can support them by, if they have online presence to order, there's restaurants that are privately owned, or just go onto their Instagram or Facebook and like things and share things. There's so much we can do.
There's so much. And you know what? Cyber Monday is on Monday as well. And that's another way you can support small business. Like Kristen just said, buy something from the internet, on the internet shopping.
Yep.
On the internet. I swear this is my first one, guys, okay?
But it's been a crazy weekend, right?
It's a crazy week.
Holiday weekend. Yeah.
and go on and support small business that way. It's not just about the Black Friday sales, people.
Right. Absolutely. Well, and I actually like getting really thoughtful, customized, or small gifts that they can't walk into Target and find.
Yeah,
and that's what's great. I like going to our little historic shopping area here, and even the antique stores, and just finding special things. So, anyways, support Small Business Saturdays, please, and welcome to another episode of Books and Booze. Wow, here we go.
So this is our 6th episode, and we are continuing with our book, Think and Grow Rich.
Yes.
And we're continuing with the party favors. So there's 27 party favors in total.
27. We did the first 10.
We did the first 10 on the last episode last week. And this one we're continuing with party favors 11 through 20.
That's right. Yeah. And we're doing that while enjoying from the St. Petersburg Distillery here in St. Petersburg, Florida, their Old St. Pete Vodka, which I think adds a nice... I enjoy Bloody Marys, and I need them a lot of times just to get up and get going, after a night of drinking or the bonfires, right?
Yes.
Oh, this makes a really good Bloody Mary, right?
Yeah, that's really good.
So, cheers. Welcome.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Mm-hmm. So, let's dig right into it.
Yeah.
Thinking We're Rich, Party Game 11. I loved this one. I didn't even need to read that this was a party game to play. See trees of green. Go out and meditate, or just spend time in nature. Yeah. She even goes so far as to suggest maybe even hugging a tree.
Hey, I don't know if I hugged the tree. I climbed the tree. Technically hugged it on the way up. So
right.
Yeah.
But there is something amazing about getting out in nature.
Yeah,
right.
It really is. Connecting with nature and just disconnecting from your devices and just enjoying every nuance that nature gives to us freely. And it's like they're welcoming you. It's going to sound woo-woo, but I love breezes. You're just standing outside and a breeze comes by and hits you. Doesn't it feel like the universe giving you a hug?
Or a kiss, a kiss, right? As it breezes by.
Yeah.
What I completely agree. Trees was my breakthrough when I realized that the universe our planet alone is so abundant. And you just look at trees alone. And I know we talked about this, I think, with the preview episode when we went through, and the fact that even something devastating that happened in Chernobyl, right? Trees and plant life has taken over. Yeah. But if you look at a tree, they're one of the few things on this planet that can't move. They are stuck where they're at. So if anybody gets to throw a pity party for themselves, it would be a tree. But they are so strong. And they're rooted into the ground and tapping that nutrition and that energy. And have you ever just stretched in the morning? Do you remember being a kid and doing tree?
Oh. Well, I remember stretching in the morning because my parents told me it would make me grow taller, faster. So they would tell me, hey, stretch. I'm like, okay. But it did feel good.
Yes. And Kevin and I have gotten to a point now we can definitely trees because something amazingly awesome is happening.
Yeah.
And we even have a tree dance now.
Oh boy, Kev. I'm going to have to see that tree dance.
It almost looks like those guys in front of used car lots, I love it. But seriously, getting up in the morning and my gratitude, I think what I post on Instagram a lot, my routine includes, because I got to get my dogs outside to go pee anyways, I will just take my journal right outside. And there's something about, I don't have trees in my yard. I mean, we planted a lemon tree, but it's still only 3 feet tall. It has been for the past 3 years. I've done something wrong, clearly. But I'm with my plants. I've got my sage plant, my basil. Thankfully for Florida, they keep growing even in November and into December. But there is something amazing about being in nature, right?
It really is.
And I think that's a great party game to play.
Yeah, I do too. I feel like, and just trees, if you think about how symbiotic they work, because you plant a tree, it grows its roots, but then think of all the life that's able to live because of the tree.
Absolutely. That's beautiful.
Trees are fair. They're fantastic.
Right? Some of them bear fruit for not only humans, but animals to eat. They give shelter.
Yep, they do a lot.
They give, I mean, you can take the wood from it without destroying the whole tree and get firewood or build things. And right? Wow, that's so true. Yeah. Trees are such a good example of things to be grateful for.
Exactly. Thank you, trees.
Thank you,
so, which brings us to party game number 12, which is about a pie chart. And it's just saying, rearrange your pie chart to eliminate bad, rewrite it. So, if you think about a pie chart of your day and you come in and you say, hey, this was a bad day. This part of my day was bad. Well, why don't you rearrange it and rewrite that story? Because it's not necessarily bad.
The whole day doesn't have to be bad because of that one thing.
The one thing, and maybe that one thing actually isn't bad either. If you rewrite the story a bit and change your perspective a little bit on how it actually unfolded for you, maybe it's not really bad per se. It was an unfortunate event that could have happened, but yet the way your mind perceives it and the way you can go about changing the way you're looking at it can actually change the outcome a bit. Right?
Yeah. And that's, I think, Pam's whole mission, right? Is like change your outlook on things, get on that gratitude frequency and things. And that's chapter after chapter. Yeah. And honestly, I mean, how many days does it technically take to create a new habit? Like, what is the you get some people will say 30 days. Some people will say 90 days, but 30 days to really begin something and and that's, I think, what this book truly is good for. Like, every time I open a page to it, it's something else reminding me that it's my mindset and how I look at it.
Yes. Yeah.
And but she does it in a way that it's not getting repetitive at all.
No, it's not. Well, like, for example, in this one, when we talk about rearranging bad, acknowledging how much good has actually happened. So let's say, for example, let's use the traffic example, right? You're stuck in traffic, right? Oh man, I'm stuck in traffic. I already told you in the last episode, you can start acknowledging, the good that happens from being stuck in traffic. But also there's another part to that. You can actually shift your mindset and say, hey, I'm stuck in traffic, but man, there's a million good things that have happened to me today. I was able to wake up this morning. I was able to drive myself to work. I have a car to being stuck in traffic. Or even down to, like, what she referenced to is all the millions and trillions of cells that have cohesively come together in order to formulate you. That's a miracle in itself.
We're made from stardust. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
Really?
I can't get into the science of it. I appreciate science, but I'm not scientific. I could get my husband to explain it better. But yeah.
Wow. Cool. I thought we were from dead dinosaurs.
Maybe that too. Maybe they are also from stardust. So, but anyways, so true, right? Again, we go through mindset.
Yeah.
Gratitude. Thankful for all those things.
Yeah. Very thankful for everything. Rewrite your story.
Rewrite it. So then, party game 13. What she calls this? The field guide to identifying your thoughts and emotions. Now, this was really important because sometimes we think we view things one way, a lot of times we don't, right? So what I like is she kind of gave 2 stories at a time. And she's like, how did it make you feel? So it digs you into it. So one of the stories she did was, when I read it, I could be very blunt. To me, it felt very fact-driven and like, okay, well, so it was that there was shooting and a suspect in a robbery was open gunfiring outside of a hotel, and the police officers tried to tell him to put the gun down. He didn't listen. He continued gunfire. So one of the police officers did shoot him. The suspect did die, but no other police officers or civilians were harmed. So she wanted you to rate how that made you feel. And she said a lot of people will be like, well, it's kind of old news that unfortunately happens a lot. So it doesn't necessarily inspire you. And then she gave another situation where, a story where somebody went to New York City as a tourist and they were mugged, pulled into an alleyway. And as this kid was mugging them, the tourist says, here, take my purse. Clearly you need it more than I do. And I love you and the universe loves you and it's going to be okay. And apparently what happened was this person turned in her purse, turned himself in. He asked an apology of her and said that she actually scared the crime out of her, out of him. And then how does that story make you feel? And that one, when reading it, it perked me up a little because you don't hear things like that as often, right?
Yeah.
So we tend to get really desensitized to the routine of things. And I think that's what she's saying in this. And that's why she even encouraged us in parties before, be thankful for the birds flying by in the V formation. Be thankful for a blue sky. Be thankful for the trees blowing in the wind.
And the dancing.
But it's how do you view things and where does that mindset put you, right? When you hear something that is actually good. I mean, it wasn't good that somebody's life ended, but the fact that they caught a robber who was also opening gunfire, right?
Yeah.
A child could have been shot. Somebody innocent,
Yeah.
Our police force puts themselves knowingly, potentially in harm's way to protect us through their service. But a civilian didn't sign up for that, right? So somebody just randomly shooting. And I mean, we've certainly had our scares here in Florida with shootings, and you get desensitized to these things.
Yeah, you do. You're like, oh, another one?
Yeah, unfortunately. And, or, in the outcome, what good do you see in it, right?
Yeah.
So that was neat to really take a look at how do you view things and where can you find the good and the gratitude in it versus just,
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Okay. Take us through party game 14.
Party game 14, I think I might have touched on it
Mm-hmm.
in party game 12. This one's about writing your story. So Pam kind of dives into, when she was in the middle of a recession, she lost her job, she was dead broke, and, there was a lot of things happening at that moment she felt to her, right? Mm-hmm. But then at that point in time, if I'm not mistaken, there was a CEO that came in. What was it again?
No, she basically gave it over to the big guy.
Yeah, she gave it over to the big guy, the CEO of the universe, right?
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah,
yes.
the CEO of the universe.
Had a conversation with him, basically.
Pretty much, and she did what, in the last episode where we talked about, she just kind of let go of the controls and just let the universe take over. Because she had an option of going back to work and doing something that she really didn't want to do, but what she did want to do was she did want to write.
Right. Yeah.
And so she just kind of let it over and said, hey, I really want to write, and I'd like to find a way for it to support my family and myself by doing something that I love. And so when she was clear with her intentions, her why, and what she wanted to do, the universe took her and provided this path for her in her severely successful book, and she's had many of them.
Yep. E squared.
E squared.
One. Yep.
Came into her spectrum.
Yes.
Because she decided to write her own story. Now, again, it's kind of a contradiction, right? She wrote her own story, but at the same time, she let go of the wheel, right? In where that contradiction, I can see where it's a contradiction, but it's not, is because by her letting go and being adamant about what it is that she wanted to do, she wrote her story that the universe listened to and said, okay, we really know what you want. We're going to make sure.
Yeah, she had even said, I'd want to write even if I didn't get paid for it. Like she said that years before. And here she did have to take a few with, I think, the Huffington Post or something like that, where she traveled and had to do some writing even though she didn't get paid for it. But look, the places she listed that she had to travel, I mean, that's...
Yes.
Wow.
Because she stuck with her why, and I know that we're not talking about
the why.
Start with why, but her why was writing, right? She wanted to write. And she was adamant about that. And her intention was clearly established in the fact that she wanted to write because she knew what she wanted to do. Any obstacles that hit her along the way, she was able to be steadfast and continue on her journey for what she really wanted, and it paid off at the end. Yeah.
That amount of bravery is hard to swallow, right? Yeah. Like, especially her as a mom, a single mom, especially. You know, I'm grateful I have my husband, right? We have each other, so we've taken turns letting each other try things. Yeah. But to let go and dig into what you're asking for it to truly come, like, that feels a little irresponsible almost.
Oh, I'm pretty sure she got judged upon 3 ways a Sunday because, you know, everyone is going to want to tell you what you're doing wrong and how you should do it right. But she dug her heels in the ground and said, no, I'm going to do it this way. And, you know, and then others might call her lucky because it laid out that way for her, where we tackled it in a previous episode where I don't believe it's luck, it was mindset.
Yes. So party game 15. I actually remember this. I don't know if you played this when you were a kid, the opposite game. Like, you kind of had to do everything opposite. So, like, for example, you are my friend. So it'd be like, hey, honey, I don't like you at all.
Oh, yeah.
Which means you're my bestest friend, right? Or
he loves me.
Or, I do not like dogs. But we really know my girls are my life, right? This Bloody Mary is horrible.
It's atrocious.
So I like this party game because what it does is it almost allows a passive-aggressive confidence to something and allows you to be bold-faced to something without being rude, right? So she tells a story about somebody who had to talk to like the IRS for an audit or something like that. Uh-huh. And her friend basically was like, I'm really looking forward to our meeting. And the IRS auditor like didn't know how to respond to like such a positive. Like, in her mind, she's probably like, this is going to be fun, but I'm going to tell him I'm looking forward to it. And it turned out to actually, I think she used the word joy fest in there.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what a neat way to tackle something that you're dreading. You know, to throw in, this is going to be great.
I've done that 100%, and 100% of the times it's always worked out in my favor. Like, with the IRS too, by the way. I have my own stories about that. But yeah,
amazing.
Going into a meeting without dread and just kind of having that fateful optimism, I guess.
Sure. Fake it till you make it concept.
Yeah, you just know it's going to turn out all right. And first, that eliminates fear. You're not fearful that anything bad is going to happen. And then when you're going into the meeting and you're coming in with that confidence, the other person on the other line is hearing it, seeing it, feeling it.
Sure.
And responding to it.
And yes. And I think we humans, for the most part, tend to feed off each other. Like, I had read this particular chapter, and then I had to go grocery shopping, and some of what we needed, it was just better for me to go to one of those big box locations where I can get things for excessively cheap, since I have 2 dogs, 2 cats, 2 kids. So anyways, there I am, and I'm walking through with my cart, and I'm just trying to smile at everybody, and they are all like, or like ignoring, and I'm like, okay, just keep going. But I just kept going. Kept going. Nice to everyone. I am telling myself I am so happy to be in this big box establishment.
Yeah, I've had that happen too. Actually, to the point where someone came and told me, are you trying to sell me something? And I'm like, no. Do you want me to?
Because I do have some wonderful things that can really enrich your life.
I was happy as a salesperson, I guess.
But on the flip side, you know, this concept really works. You know, I've been in retail for almost 30 years, and there are days that we women wake up and we have cramps. We just don't feel good. Maybe we had an argument with our spouse. Maybe we're dealing with something with our kids, right?
Yeah.
And work is kind of the last place we mentally want to be because we feel like, right? But when you go in with the mindset like, this is gonna be a great day. I love going in here. I love who I work. I love who I get to take care of. It can begin to shift the moment that you're in. There might be things still to deal with, but it can shift the moment that you're in and keep you out of that downward spiral, right? Yeah, so I love that. The opposite game.
The opposite game.
That was a fun party game. It was eye-opening for sure. Mm-hmm.
So party game number 16 is about doing the happy dance, right? Dancing like a tree. It's just pretty much, you know, the fastest way to elevating your vibration is just dancing. And that's, and I don't know if you guys remember when you were little and you were in like kindergarten, first grade, the teacher would stop the whole class and just say, okay, guys, everyone stand up, shake, and get the wiggles out.
Shake your wiggles out.
Yes.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes.
And it's just something about, you're itchy, you're just sitting one place, you're just stagnant, you're just feeling, ugh, I don't want to be here. But the moment you get up and you shake your wiggles out, all of a sudden it's like a second wind comes to you and you just feel better and you're elevated. And, I think that's maybe one of the reasons why I love parties so much, because I'll dance my little tushy off, and I might not be coordinated at all, but I have a great time. I feel good, and it just really elevates my vibration. Now, do I go and bust a move in the middle of, Target or
maybe we should
parking lot?
Maybe when we go grab some things that we got to grab for the holiday season, maybe we just throw up a dance party.
Maybe. I haven't done it. I think I've danced in a parking lot or two.
You can put it on Instagram.
But I get where her rationalizing comes in this one. Okay, I see where she's going with this. I haven't personally done the list of stuff she has, and you'll have to pick up the book to read some of the list of stuff she has in here. But maybe we'll tackle a couple on that list and throw it up on Instagram, right?
I think that could be fun.
Sure, why not? Let's see.
Well, and this could go into party game 17.
Yes.
She says, wear your freak flag. So do something that scares you, but not necessarily she references Stephen Colbert, who I love watching.
Stephen Colbert? I don't think I watched him.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Anyways, just doing something that reminds you that you are not in control, but it also isn't going to ruin you. So she talks about, in a public space, lay down on the ground for 10 seconds and then get up and go about.
I just imagine all the looks.
But you know what? That's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
It's not going to ruin your career.
No.
It's not illegal, right? Like there are other things to do that are dangerous that are, right?
Yeah.
And could get you in trouble and all of that. But it basically is just having yourself wake up to the fact that there's things that you can do, like laugh at yourself almost, right? Yes. I mean, I can't think of a time I've ever done that because I think I have been always too worried about what other people think.
And I'll be completely honest, doing this podcast is one of the party favors I'm facing here, which is doing something that is completely scares me. Kristen will attest, this is not it was not my dream to put myself out there on social media or for the world to see and bare my soul. And one of the things I realized that it was a fear. It was an actual fear of mine. And I decided that I wanted to take control of my fear. And so here I am doing this podcast with Kristen and you guys to watch.
I think you're doing amazing. I look forward to these every week. Like this is so much fun.
Me too. I do. Amazingly, I do. Or recording a reel. I did my first one the other day and that went on Facebook. And please, guys, if you haven't already visited our Facebook page, by all means, Saige Consultants. And I just think that, like she says, wear your freak flag, just own it. Just at the end, just own it, that who you are, It's not, like you said, it's not going to kill you. Nope. I mean, words really don't kill, right? Don't. It only depends on how you interpret those words that can actually do any damage to you. But if you come in and you can interpret everything someone says as good and positive or discard, they can't hurt you.
And what is it? I'm rubber.
You're glue.
Everything you say bounces off me and sticks to you.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So, I think as we head out to do a little bit of December shopping, maybe we wear our freak flag and dance or something. We'll figure out something, right? Maybe we'll make sure the guys are driving us so we can drink first.
So party game 18 is impersonate Wonder Woman. So she's not the first person I've heard this from, but they say that there's a certain pose that you can take when you stand.
It's true.
So, some women, right now on Instagram, it always seems to be head down to the side, butt sticking out, doing this type of thing. But if you want a pose of power, of empowerment, feeling good about yourself, Stand like Superwoman. Something about this pose it brings on confidence. It kind of channels in that inner Wonder Woman and say, man, I can conquer the world. That type of thing. And so, trying to think if I take that pose, maybe subconsciously I've been doing that pose now, and just kind of channeling my inner Wonder Woman.
Being in retail for as long as I have and having to show up and people rely on you, you need to find your strength regularly. And I had heard about this actually years ago before reading this, that to get into the power pose. But I also think what it's doing is it's putting you in the mindset too. Now, apparently there are scientific benefits to that pose. There's something about cortisol levels lowering, testosterone increasing. There's something scientifically traceable about that pose awakening something in you. Yes. But I think what it does for you too is when you put yourself in a pose where it's recognized as being a powerful pose, again, what is this whole book doing? It's reprogramming you and your frequency so you can accept things, right? So, we're talking about being grateful daily. We're talking about the things that we're grateful for, but we got to remember to be grateful for ourselves. And
number one.
Yes. Right. And accept yourself and love yourself, right? And so that Superwoman pose, like, I'm a superwoman. Do it. I am a superwoman.
I am a super goddess.
Oh, I love that. Yes, girl. Those of you listening, try it. There, we just kind of did our silly thing, right? Right? It feels weird to do that, but...
In about 10 seconds, Kristen's going to start dancing.
Don't tempt me. Maybe I will. I'll finish the rest of this. Oh, my goodness. Goodness. Okay.
This is really good, girl.
Thank you so much. Okay. The next one, Party Game 19. Wow. Flying through these.
It's like a meal in a cup.
It is like a meal in a cup, right? It does help with hangovers.
Am I allowed to eat the bacon, or is this just...
Oh, please do. It's going to be even better with that.
Sorry, guys.
All right. Party Game 19. Where's Waldo? And this is where she encourages you in your reflections of gratitude to go out on a scavenger hunt and find things that you've never noticed before. I feel like you and Danny one time had come over because you were in the middle of going through this book and you were like, we went out and we saw beautiful mushrooms or something like that. And it reminded me, I don't know if that's where you were at in this book.
No, it was, well, go ahead, sorry.
No, it just reminded me of that, right? Like you came over, I think we were going to just do dinner and drinks. This was before Books and Booze.
Yeah,
right?
We like to forage for mushrooms.
Right? Which have a lot of health benefits too. That's amazing, right? Whole nother lesson. But talk about going out and just really finding things to be grateful for, things in your world that make your world beautiful, special. I think she references like little flowers that were growing in a lawn of like a house that was kind of decrepit and falling apart, but the beauty of the flowers and stuff like that. So that was really neat. And I agree, like a lot of times we want to pack up and travel the world. I want to go see Europe. I want to go see South America. But I have beautiful things in my backyard.
Oh, yeah. There's beauty everywhere.
Everywhere. And I think, again, she's just slowing us down and what things can we be grateful for, what's even in our backyard. Just going out and appreciating even the things that are while you walk your dog or on your drive to work. Yeah. The simple things.
The very simple things.
That you miss. I think there was some ratio, like most people miss almost half of what is around them because they're thinking or doing something else.
I wonder if it's the 80-20 ratio that she was talking about.
Maybe. Yeah. But almost 50% of it, there it is, think about things other than what's right in front of us at the moment. And I've definitely been guilty of that. I've sat out in my backyard to enjoy being outside, but I didn't stop to enjoy the dragonflies that fly by or the hibiscus that's blooming, right? I'm thinking about what do we need to do for Saige? Making sure I write in my journal. This is so important. I have to have my gratitude journal, right? And I'm trying to do all these things and all these processes that I'm supposed to do, but slow down and just take note of what's in front of me.
Yeah. And I think especially that's important so it's easy to get caught up in life, right? And it's also easy to fall into this cycle of guilt, right? You're like, I need to pay attention to the flowers, but then I feel guilty for it, right? Not, that type of thing.
Right.
I think acknowledgement is the other 50%. So if you're at least just acknowledging that, I didn't notice that flower at that moment, but I am noticing it now, and that's enough too,
Yes.
And
I think she even talks about that she made a bookmark from those little flowers from her walk, just to remind her that there are small little things.
Yeah.
Right?
Beautiful things.
Oh, wow. We're at party 20.
Oh, yeah, we're at party 20. So what's party 20? Morrow up. So when I'm reading here, Morrow is Japanese for Magokoro.
Yeah, I don't speak Japanese.
I don't either. Magokoro. If anyone from Japan, please
help us with pronunciation.
Yes. Which means true of heart. Mm-hmm. And it says it's the spiritual state of unconditional love for yourself and others. And I think it was a billionaire.
Yes.
That he, oh boy. Wahei, he's from Japan.
Yes.
Wahei Takada. And that's what he does is he spends his time giving joy, spreading joy.
And giving a lot of his earnings away and doing good.
Yeah.
Right? And but it's part of a meditation process too, to really, it's using the word thank you a lot. Arigato, I think is thank you in Japanese. But it's really just filling your world, your essence continually. It's starting with how you meditate and loving yourself, and then turning in how you treat others on a regular basis. It's really beautiful. So I know it's technically your term, the way we've been doing this, but Party Game 20 really spoke to me. I love this one. It talks about morrowing up, and I believe that they are referring to a word called Magokoro. I hope I'm saying it right, but it means true heart. And it's part of a way of being. And again, the Japanese culture uses so much symbolism and power in their words that the translations aren't always very good. Both Kevin and one of my sons wanted to study Japanese a little, and very challenging because it's almost more storytelling with certain characters and things like, yes, it's a beautiful language with a lot of intention behind it. So the fact that she references this just really spoke to me because, you look a lot of where our practices come from for being calm and meditation and things like that. There's so much untapped that we here living in the West. Okay. Right? Our pace, everything is very different. But this true of heart talks about not only unconditional love for others and respecting others and being good to other people, but loving yourself too. And I think that you can't really begin to transform until you accept yourself and love yourself.
I agree with that.
And then taking that whole philosophy and really the intention of spreading joy and thankfulness. Arigato is thank you for Japanese. And I think this story is amazing because here is somebody who is uberly wealthy. I think he's a billionaire actually. And his whole essence is just to spread joy and to give his money and to share and do good with it. And I remember listening to, I love to listen to so many people. I think it was Mr. Rohn was saying, some people are like, well, if I won the lottery, I'd never work a day again in my life. And then he's like, well, that's probably why the good Lord doesn't see fit that you win the lottery, right? Because, when you have money and wealth and abundance, what do you do with it? And what is your reason for having it? And what good can you spread? Yeah. What love can you spread? Not only for yourself. I think it is good to love yourself and do something good for you, but what good can you do for others and just constant gratitude and gratefulness.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, and I think especially this weekend, I think tying in and recognizing that there's so much we have to learn from other cultures even. Yeah. And this was a powerful way for me to wrap up a very American, even if you could call it that, holiday weekend.
We'll go with that.
We'll just go with that. and be humbled that there is still a lot to learn in how others reflect on gratitude and bringing love and light to the world.
Love, it's funny because I feel, when we talk about certain emotions, love love is at the key of everything. And gratitude, I believe, is just an extension of love.
Absolutely.
And so, like you said, this week was this book is fantastic for this month, and this week was just another way of saying, "Hey, I love you."
Oh, I love you too. Yes. Happy week of thankfulness, month of thankfulness, year of thankfulness, life of thankfulness. Right? So much. So, friends, thank you for listening in for another Books and Brews.
Yes.
Really appreciate it, Pam. We are loving your book. I hope you guys are loving Pam's book too. We did set up a link to it on our website, so you guys can find it quickly and easily through our website and jump on this bandwagon. We have one more week to go, but we'll wrap it up, taking us into December.
Yeah.
The gift-giving season, right?
I like gifts.
All right, guys. Cheers to y'all. Cheers, my friend. And thank you for being you.
Thanks, guys. And thank you for being you. And thank you for being you. Grab a good book. Get some booze.
One time you told them to take their bra off, right? Or I think I said that.
Take your bra off.
I think you said wear a bra. And support small businesses.
Yes.
A few hours left.
Yes.
Please go support small businesses. All right, cheers, y'all.
Bye.
Thank you. Good, right?
That's good. So good. It is like a meal, though.
It is like a meal.